Ever found yourself stuck in bed, phone in hand, endlessly scrolling, the screen's glow the only light in the room? Time seems to slip away as you navigate through social media, news feeds, or whatever captures your fleeting attention. Meanwhile, tasks pile up around you, a silent testament to what you should be doing. The unfolded laundry mocks you from the chair, the messy room seems to grow more chaotic by the hour, and the cluttered desk becomes a symbol of your stalled ambitions. The voice in your head whispers, "You're just lazy." It's a harsh, judgmental voice, one that offers no comfort or understanding, only criticism. You wonder why you can't just get up and do it, why the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. The motivation is absent, replaced by a heavy inertia that seems impossible to overcome. Feeling isolated and ashamed as you watch others move forward, seemingly effortlessly achieving their goals. You see people outside, engaged in life, and a pang of envy and self-reproach hits you. But what if it's not laziness? What if there's a deeper explanation for this persistent lack of motivation? What if that heavy feeling is something deeper? A weight that isn't simply a lack of willpower. Something you can't just will away. Something that requires more than just a pep talk or a burst of energy. Society praises hustle, glorifying constant activity and relentless productivity, making us believe that any lack of motivation is a personal failure, a character flaw to be ashamed of. This creates immense pressure, especially when you're already struggling. But telling yourself to snap out of it, to simply force yourself to be productive, is like telling someone with a broken leg to walk it off. It's dismissive, unhelpful, and ignores the underlying issue. Today, let's pull back the curtain on this misconception, shedding light on a more complex reality, and explore how what you call laziness might actually be depression, a condition that significantly impacts motivation and energy levels. This is about understanding, not excuses, about recognizing your struggle is real and deserving of care, compassion, and potentially professional help. It's about reframing your perspective and acknowledging that you're not simply lazy, but possibly battling a deeper challenge. One of the most damaging myths about depression, and there are many, is the pervasive idea that you can simply will yourself out of it. This misconception often leads to feelings of failure and inadequacy when someone struggling with depression finds that their best efforts to snap out of it are ineffective. It's a harmful oversimplification of a complex mental health condition. You try routines, meticulously crafted to-do lists, even setting up rewards for completing tasks, hoping to reignite some spark of motivation. But the energy simply isn't there. It's not a matter of lacking discipline or motivation. It's a fundamental depletion of the resources needed to engage with the world. It's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. You can turn the key, pump the gas, but without the necessary power, the engine remains stubbornly silent. Laziness is temporary, a fleeting state of mind, and can be overcome with a surge of motivation, the pressure of a looming deadline, or simply a change of scenery. Depression, on the other hand, is persistent, a heavy cloud that lingers for weeks, months, or even years. It's a complex condition affecting your brain chemistry, disrupting sleep patterns, and draining your energy reserves. It's not just feeling sad, it's a profound alteration in how your brain functions. It's not a choice, a conscious decision to feel down or unmotivated. And telling yourself to snap out of it, a phrase often delivered with good intentions, but devastating impact, only adds layers of guilt and self-blame to an already unbearable burden. It reinforces the false belief that you are somehow responsible for your own suffering. If you were physically ill, battling a fever or recovering from an injury, you'd rest, prioritize your recovery, and seek help from a medical professional. You wouldn't expect to simply will yourself back to health. Depression deserves the same seriousness, the same level of understanding and compassion. It's a health condition that requires attention, care, and often professional intervention. Willpower alone simply can't fix the complex neurobiological changes that occur in the brain as a result of depression. It's like trying to fix a broken bone with positive thinking. That's why seeking professional help matters so much. Therapists, psychiatrists, and other mental health professionals can provide the support, guidance, and treatment necessary to navigate the challenges of depression. When you're lazy, perhaps on a relaxing weekend afternoon, a good night's sleep might be all you need to feel refreshed and ready to tackle the week ahead. But with depression, the experience is vastly different. Even 10 hours of sleep or more often leaves you feeling just as exhausted as when you went to bed, if not more so. The fatigue is relentless and pervasive. If trying harder, pushing yourself beyond your limits, only makes you feel worse, exacerbating your symptoms and deepening your sense of despair, know that it's not your fault. You are not to blame for the way you feel. You're dealing with a real health condition, a legitimate illness that requires understanding and support. The first step towards healing isn't to push harder, to force yourself to function despite the overwhelming weight of depression, but to understand what you're facing, to acknowledge the reality of your experience, and to recognize that you deserve help, and to seek the right support, the kind of care that addresses the underlying causes of your depression and empowers you to reclaim your life. Shifting your perspective from the self-critical question of "what's wrong with me?", which often leads to feelings of shame and inadequacy, to the more compassionate and empowering question of "what do I need to heal?", is a crucial step towards recovery. This shift in perspective, this act of self-compassion and self-care, is an act of strength, a testament to your resilience and your commitment to your own well-being. Well-meaning friends might tell you to cheer up or think positive, but depression isn't just a bad mood. Fun activities or self-care might help a low mood, but with depression, the emptiness remains, a glass wall between you and joy. You might go through the motions, but the sadness and exhaustion don't lift. Depression drains you emotionally and physically, making even small tasks feel monumental. Self-care is important, but it can't fill the emptiness depression creates. The problem isn't the activity, it's the inability to feel pleasure from it. If nothing brings you joy anymore, it's not about trying harder. It's a sign of something deeper. Recognizing this is the first step toward real help. Remember those days when your hobbies weren't just activities, but sources of genuine excitement? When losing yourself in a painting, strumming a guitar, or exploring a hiking trail filled you with a sense of purpose and joy? Think back to the passion you felt, the anticipation that bubbled up before each session, the satisfaction that lingered long after you were done. Now, the mere thought of engaging in those very same activities feels like an insurmountable chore. The guitar gathers dust in the corner, the art supplies remain untouched, and the hiking boots sit forlornly by the door. The vibrant colors of life seem to have faded, leaving behind a dull, uninspiring landscape. With simple laziness, you might occasionally skip a hobby for a night, perhaps choosing to relax and unwind with some mindless entertainment. But the desire to return to it eventually resurfaces, pulling you back into the activity you enjoy. The spark is still there, waiting to be rekindled. With depression, however, the joy is simply gone. It's not a matter of willpower or motivation. It's a fundamental inability to experience pleasure or find meaning in things that once brought you happiness. This profound loss of interest, clinically termed anhedonia, is a core symptom of depression, a hallmark of the illness, and not a personal choice or failing. It's a neurological shift, a change in brain chemistry that impacts your ability to feel and experience the world around you. And it extends far beyond hobbies, seeping into your social life too. You withdraw from friends and family, not because you don't care about them or value their company, but because the very act of socializing feels overwhelmingly exhausting, a drain on your already depleted energy reserves. Others, not understanding the depth of your struggle, might misinterpret your behavior, seeing you as lazy, uncaring, or simply antisocial. But inside, you're fighting a silent, invisible battle, a constant uphill climb just to get through the day, to perform the simplest of tasks. Laziness is often selective, a conscious choice to avoid certain tasks or activities. But depression is pervasive, a relentless force that drains motivation from every single aspect of your life, leaving you feeling empty and depleted. If your world feels like a faded photograph, devoid of vibrant hues and rich textures, and nothing, absolutely nothing seems to excite you or spark your interest anymore, it's crucial to understand that it's not laziness. It's a clear sign that your mind and body are struggling and desperately need professional help and support. Recognizing this fundamental difference is a crucial first step on the long and challenging, but ultimately rewarding path toward rediscovering joy and reclaiming your life. Laziness might mean a messy room or putting off errands, but it doesn't stop your life. Depression, though, can make even simple tasks feel impossible, disrupting work, relationships, and self-care. Psychologists look for dysfunction. When your struggles interfere with daily life, it's a red flag. You might sit for hours, unable to start work or neglect basic self-care, not by choice but from sheer exhaustion. Depression can unravel your life, leaving you feeling powerless and deepening your despair. Laziness might cause a late fee, Depression can lead to missed bills, lost jobs, or broken relationships. If your laziness is causing serious problems, it's time to consider you're facing something much more serious. Seeking support is the first step to regaining control. Laziness usually has a clear cause: boredom, tiredness, or a specific task you want to avoid. Depression, however, can appear without warning even when life seems fine on the surface. You might ask, why do I feel this way? And feel guilty for not having a reason. Depression isn't always triggered by events. It's often an internal neurochemical condition. Sometimes it's like a storm that appears out of nowhere, casting a shadow over everything. Laziness is context-dependent. Depression is pervasive, affecting all areas of life. If you can't find a reason for your lack of motivation, it's not invalid. It's a sign the problem is internal. Letting go of guilt and recognizing this is a step toward compassion and healing. Laziness involves some choice. You might put off chores for comfort, knowing you could do them if you tried. Depression strips away that sense of agency. You're not choosing to feel exhausted or hopeless. Productivity hacks and motivational quotes don't work when your brain's executive functions are impaired. The gap between what you want to do and what you can do fills with guilt and self-criticism. Depression is a prison of the mind, not a character flaw. Rest doesn't cure it. It's a persistent condition needing real treatment. If you feel trapped in inaction and self-blame, remember, you're not choosing this, and you're not lazy. Letting go of the idea that this is a choice is the first step toward the help you deserve. If you see yourself in these signs, know this: you are not lazy. The exhaustion and emptiness you feel are symptoms of a real illness, not a reflection of your worth. Getting through each day is an act of strength. You don't have to go through this alone. Help and hope are available. Reach out to a mental health professional or talk to someone you trust. Your struggle is valid, and seeking help is a sign of courage. You are not alone.